Hello everyone and welcome to my Magicka Templar PvP build for the Stonethorn patch. This is a brief overview of the whole build. In case you don't want to watch the whole video, I'll leave a link to this overview in the description. Let's jump right into it. So for the race, we chose to go with Breton. In my opinion, it's by far the best race for magplar in PvP. It gives you great sustain, it gives you tankiness. Other races that will work are Dark Elf, High Elf, Nord, and Khajit. However, Breton in my opinion is much better. All of our points are into max Magicka. We're using the Atro Mundus. Why do we use an Atro Mundus? Because sustain on Templar is pretty tough this patch, so I do recommend starting with Atro, and then eventually you'll probably be able to move on to something like the Mage Mundus. For the food, we're going to be using the Bewitcher Skulls, which is our tri-food. We need the Mag for damage and healing, we need the Health for survivability, and we definitely need the Max Stam for sustain, hiding, and blocking. For the potions, we're using the Tri-Staff Pots as our primary, Essence of Detection as our secondary for the annoying Nightblades and stealth, and lastly Essence of Immovability for either kiting when you're getting really outnumbered or rezzing and not getting interrupted. For the champion points, these are what works for me. You can adjust this to your liking, absolutely. However, I do recommend you try this because it does work for me really well. 51 Warlord, 4 Siphoner, 9 Sprinter, 27 Arcanist, 27 Tenacity, 35 Befoul, 51 Tumbling, 66 Shadow Ward, 49 Blessed, 11 Elfborn, 64 Elemental Expert, and 40 Spell Erosion, 14 Staff Expert, 72 Master at Arms, 20 Thaumaturge, 61 Ironclad, 40 Resistant, 49 Hardy and Elemental Defender, 48 Thick-Skinned, and 23 Quick Recovery. Now for the gear, it's very much alike with the MagDK build that we released a couple of days ago with a few minor differences. So on our front bar, we're going to be using the Overwhelming Surge. Now the difference is, in this build, we're actually going to be using a Lightning Staff because most of our damage on the Magplar is AoE. Both of our proc sets, all 3 of our proc sets, our sweeps, our ultimate, everything is pretty much AoE apart from 1 or 2 abilities. So Lightning Staff on Magplar works really well. So we're going to have this on the front bar, sharpened or charged with a disease damage glyph. It's up to you what you want to do. 2 pieces on the neck and the ring, and 1 piece on the gloves. Our back bar set is going to be Resilient Yukita again, powered 1H, sturdy shield, and then 3 pieces on the body in 1, 2, and 3. So we are running heavy armor. Our monster set for the build is Grotdar. You can also definitely go with Engine Guardian for more sustain and survivability, or Bloodspawn with a little bit more old gen survivability and sustain as well. I do choose to go with Grotdar because I feel like pushing out a little bit more damage when I can. We're using 1-piece trainee heavy impen, as well as obviously the 1-piece Malakath Band of Brutality. Now, as far as the traits go, all of our jewelry is infused. The reduced mat cost, again, you do need the reduced mat cost. Trust me, the sustain is pretty rough on the Magplar. So once you get used to sustaining, once you get used to it, you can probably switch one of these glyphs to spell damage. For now, I'm going with 3 Magicka reduced spell cost. On the back bar, as I said, powered is the best, sturdy is the best. On the front bar, again, you can go sharpened or charged. Both work really well. Sharpened is more for AoE. Charged is more for single target and really defiling your opponents. Then we're running 1, 2, 3, 4 impen, 2 sturdy on the body, and 1 reinforced, which you can definitely change to sturdy or impen if you choose to. It's really up to you. I choose to go with reinforced just because it gives me a little bit more resistances. So again, 1 reinforced, 3 sturdy on the back bar with the shield and 2 pieces on the body, and 4 impen pieces on the body as well. Last but not least, we're running Trapping Poisons on our back bar to slow down and immobilize our enemies when we're getting chased down. So I would usually turn around while I'm blocking, do a quick heavy attack on the sword and board bar, stop one guy from chasing me, and then continue kiting. For the skills, the Templar skills are pretty simple. We have an offensive bar and a defensive bar, so it's pretty easy to learn to play. Puncturing Sweeps is our main spammable. It does a little bit of healing. It's AoE. Toppling Charge is our main CC. It is also a gap closer, and it procs off balance on the enemies. Purifying Light is a 6-second big time burst damage skill. So you want to try to time your Crescent Sweep and your Puncturing Sweeps at the same time as this is about to go off. So time 6 seconds, and that is when your burst is going to happen. The more damage that you do during those 6 seconds, the more damage this skill is going to do. Degeneration, it is our main source of major sorcery, and it also is a pretty decent dot. Elemental Drain, make sure you debuff the enemies and get Magicka back as well. And then Crescent Sweep is our main ultimate. It's very, very cheap. It's very, very effective. It does a ton of damage. Makes the enemies take additional damage over 6 seconds. So it's really, really strong. On our back bar, Living Dark. Now this is a skill that you can probably swap out for something that you like more. I do choose to go with Living Dark because it snares enemies as well as gives me a little bit of a heal over time while I'm getting attacked. Extended Rituals are bread and butter of the cleansing. It cleanses 5 harmful effects off of you, so make sure that when you're taking a lot of dot damage, you use this. Honor the Dead, you can choose the other morph, Breath of Life, especially when you're playing in a group. I choose Honor the Dead because, again, Sustain is pretty rough on magplar, and sometimes when you're getting outnumbered and overwhelmed, you have to pretty much spam this on cooldown. So I choose to go with Honor the Dead. If you're grouping with 2, 3, or 4 more people, I'll probably go with Breath of Life for a little bit more group support. Channeled Focus is our resistance buff as well as our sustain. Keep this up at all times. When you stand in it, it gives you even more sustain, so if you can kind of stand in your house in the Channeled Focus and the Ritual, you're going to be very, very tanky. Race Against Time is our mobility skill. It stops us from getting snared as well as gives you minor force for a little bit of crit healing. We can do crit damage because we're running Malakath, but most importantly, it gives you movement speed and removes snares and mobilizations. So while you're kiting, keep this up pretty much at all times. Last but not least, our Spell Wall is the ultimate on the back bar. This gives you seconds of perma blocking. It's really, really strong. It's a pretty cheap ultimate as well. It's only 128 ult. So when you're kiting and you're getting outnumbered, this is really going to save you a lot. That's it for the skills. Now, you could, again, swap out the back bar ultimate for something like Temporal Guard, or you can also go with a Nova if you're playing in a group and you want to be a little bit more defensive. However, if you're playing solo or duo or in a small group, I do like Spell Wall to stay a little bit more defensive. Lastly, let's go over, so when we're kiting, we need to make sure that we keep up 3 very, very important buffs. You want to make sure Channel Focus is always down. You want to make sure that you're always cleansing with Ritual. You want to try to keep up Living Dark. And you want to try to keep up Race Against Time up the whole time. So you're moving, you're kiting, or whenever you need to heal, you need just blocking and Breath of Lifing, so on and so forth. For our offensive combination, what you want to try to do is make sure all your buffs are up before you go into combat. First thing you do is apply Ellie Drain to the target, then Degeneration. Once you've applied both of those, now you're ready for your burst combination. So you're going to do Purifying Light, Toppling Charge in, Sweep one time, Ultimate, Sweep one time again, and then your Purifying Light is going to go off and you're going to have a huge burst of damage. Another thing that you can do is time your Crescent Sweep all the way at the end as your Purifying Light is about to proc. In case you want to do that, the first combination didn't work, so you would do 1, 2, Purifying Light, Toppling Charge, 2 sweeps, and then the ultimate. Now, of course, I don't have the ultimate up, so I can't show you that one. But then Purifying Light and your Crescent Sweep will go off at the same time with a huge burst of damage. Another thing that you want to do when you're trying to time your burst is try to time your burst with the Resilient Yukito proc. The way that it works is every 5 seconds, when you block an attack, you deal a lot of Magicka damage to all enemies within 10 meters. So what you want to try to do is you want to try the combination coming in, blocking some attacks, getting your buffs up, healing yourself, and then once you proc that, then you go into your regular combination. And then the burst goes off here, and usually you will take out pretty much anyone in Cyrodiil who's not a tank with this burst. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the build video. I hope this helps you out. If you do like it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I try to answer all the questions as much as I can. Big thank you for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next one, and have a wonderful day. Bye.